Hello.
Hello, Dawn. I'm not as prepared as normal, so I'm not going to wing it. I've done some prep, but I was a bit thrown out. My mouse needs charging,
Oh
and
dear.
I hadn't got my intro music lined up, and I hadn't gone through my notes, and you were sitting waiting for me. So
It doesn't matter.
we're going to do the intro music now. It's not very long, very few seconds, but some people quite like having a guess. So I'm trying this on here. Standing a bit further back, see if it records. So here we go. That'll do. We don't want to give anything away. You don't recognise that, do you?
Well, I have a feeling I do.
It's not that. Okay. Right, we're recording. Right. It's episode 26, 18th of April 2020. Good feedback again. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. It's like casting a bait out for fishes, isn't it? This, and seeing what you reel in. We got a few big fishes out there who.
Got a few big fishes, yeah.
You were talking about the Premiership football and how to resolve the end of season in one of the episodes.
Yeah, they've made an announcement yesterday that they were going to they want to finish the season, but they don't know when they can start. I suspect they will probably do it behind closed doors. I don't know because I don't even know how many games they've got left to play. That's how much I know about it.
8 or 9, I think, something like that.
Yeah, I just think the whole thing has an impact. And I do think that if you're not starting until August, then, no, I mean, okay, they're having what they call their summer break, not necessarily in the same place that they would normally, but they're having a break, aren't they?
Mm. Well, I was talking to my brother Adam because I noticed in the local newspaper, Tunbridge Juddians Rugby were promoted to the 3rd tier of the national structure. And they'd finished 80% of their season had been completed, and the Rugby Football Union resolved all the leagues and announced not only who was in line for winning championships, but also promotion and playoff results without playing any more games or anything else. And most of the clubs, I think, have accepted it and understood the reasoning behind it.
Well, if you think about it, like, for instance, cricket, if they've got like 2020, you've got 20 overs, normally you play your 20 overs, but when you're playing like a 5-day fixture, if it rains, etc., and it's rained off for the last 2 days, the result stands. They don't go on and it's called a draw. That's it, full stop. But there are instances where it rains, so they reduce the other team has got in and say they've done 10 overs. They will then look at it for 10 overs and then decide which team has won. So there are different systems, but I don't know what's fair really, because no matter what you do, someone's going to think, that's not very fair to me, sort of thing, aren't they?
Well, it's slightly different. I don't think the money is quite the same.
Oh no, I mean, I think football's all about money. It's revenue, obviously, keeping it must cost a lot of money to keep a club going. I totally agree with you. But the problem being is, even if we get back in August, September, we aren't going to have crowds. So they're not going to get the revenue. So somewhere along the line, you've got to be fairly sort of like resolved to change the way you do things.
Yeah, and in rugby, some of them don't actually want to be promoted because it costs more money to the club in travel and stuff like that. So quite a few are quite happy even to drop down a division sometimes to get more competitive rugby because the money's not such an issue. But anyway. Moving on, some other good feedback. Andy Poppleton had attended an England Athletics webinar, so anyone interested in those, have a look at them. So that's quite good. In Canada, we've had some feedback again from Cuba. Interesting how they his niece and her boyfriend, dealt with their hair issue. They were actually trying to survive through the lockdown without going to the shops at all, and they ran out of shampoo, so they decided to go bald.
It's a bit drastic, and I'm not sure that I would like to do that, thanks.
No.
So it's a good job that I've got plenty of shampoo. The only person who's likely to run out of shampoo is you. But I mean, I went shopping yesterday, and I can tell you I have 100% order fill and everything that anyone else wanted. So it may not be the make that they usually have, but it's as good. Look, these are difficult times. Get over it.
I'd still like to see some shaved heads out there. That'd be interesting.
I'm not shaving my head for you, mate, so forget it.
Grazia, talking about her 90-minute runs, which actually there's only 60 minutes maybe maximum of moving, because she's talking to so many people on the run, so that's quite good. And she actually wanted to highlight the issue of when you're dealing with people who might appear a bit grumpy, you just don't know what's going on in their life, and so you must be very accepting of that. And it's something she's tried to bring into her way she thinks.
I agree about that. I'm a total stranger, but there are people that I know that are grumpy all the time. I mean, what's going on there? Perhaps they're just having disasters. Who knows?
There's a few people dwelling on the current way of thinking during this lockdown, and I think we will see ebbs and flows in terms of that. Interesting one from Dave Adkin and his wife Pat, who we hear from regularly. They've got quite a nice way, or Pat has, of keeping in touch with the family. Every morning when she gets up, she sends just 2 lines of a poem she's written, like that rhyme, and texts the rest of the family. Isn't that nice?
Yes, but you haven't said what she gets back.
What she gets back is a bunch of abuse, taking the mickey out of her grammar and the like. So I think the rest of their family have to look at themselves in this situation, don't they?
They should be trying to help, as opposed to sort of like taking the mickey out of their poor nan or mum.
So I thought I've got a few things written down. Hubert wanted to talk about what we're doing in terms of cooking, who is cooking, and how has it changed in the lockdown.
Well,
answer that, or should I?
I think you should. You're the expert on cooking. I don't think.
Well, we have 2 really good cooks in the household. Oscar and I are not the 2. Nicole and Dean are. And well, I don't know if I'm any good, actually. It's been a few years since I've really had a good crack at it. But we haven't had out my liver and bacon yet, have we? My speciality. We haven't resorted to that. But yeah, we have a mixture of, like, we had spaghetti bolognese last night. We had salmon the night before. We've had a roast, haven't we? Once a week.
I have a roast on Sunday now. I mean, normally it depends on where I am, what I'm doing, whether we'll end up with a roast or not, because obviously it's more time consuming to do a roast dinner than it is anything else. Like, you know, you put your roast in, you've got to think about when you want to put your potatoes on and blah, 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 which is boring for you because that's cooking and you don't do that, do you?
Right. But I suppose in terms of what's changed is 3 of us are eating together rather than us 2 and then Nicole fitting it in around her life, you know, because we're eating earlier as well, aren't we?
We're definitely eating earlier. We're eating between 7 and 7:30, which is so much better from my point of view. Because we would normally eat between 8:30 and 8:45, depending on when you got back or whatever. So yes, and the only other thing that's changed is the way you shop, really. I mean, I go up to the garage probably every 3 days or something like that to get bits and pieces that people have run out, like mainly milk and bread for Dominique, etc. But at the end of the day, I go shopping once a week, and I've always done it once a week shopping. But I now stay locally. I'm doing it in Tunbridge rather than picking my mum up, going to Tunbridge Wells. So that's also changed. But the majority of it is just like thinking as you go around what you need, etc. I brought a chicken rather than
All right.
chicken breast, but
Okay,
you know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Things you wouldn't even think about.
Oh, I thought we were going to have a story there. Get up and down every aisle in Sainsbury's and Waitrose.
No. I was just saying that you can vary it, you depending on what's there and what's available.
But we don't want to get people too jealous because we still, pudding. That's just a yogurt or an ice lolly or something like that, isn't it? Generally. So.
Oh yeah, it's not. I'm going to make some granola bars and do some orange juice today. Apart from those two things, I'm not really going to do masses of cooking, and I might make some brownies, but don't tell anyone else because they, Yeah.
And also, I thought I'd ask you because you not secretively, but you get on with something during the day, which I have got no idea what you're up to with your iPad. And I would like to know what challenges and games you find, most, I don't know, exciting is the right word, but most, what is it? What is the word? What I don't know, enjoyable perhaps. You enjoy it?
Well, I don't do them all day. I do them periodically, and there are various things. At the moment, I like doing Scrabble. I do Sudoku. I do one of each. I don't do any more than that. There's merge puzzle, which is getting different shapes and you have to put them together. And as you go through the sequence, they start off very easy, but there's 80 of them. And by the time you get to the end of it, well, it takes me about maybe 3 months to do the whole lot, and because I'm just doing maybe one or two at a time, it just keeps my mind sharp. I'm just sort of like thinking, what can I do to keep my mind occupied? I play cribbage on the iPad as well. That's good for me. I'm thinking about that, and I play gin rummy as well, and anything to do that sort of like you're thinking about it, and because you're always on the computer tapping away and doing whatever you're doing or talking to people, I can't really say to you, oh come on, let's have a game or something, to keep myself occupied. So I do it on the iPad, which I just set myself little challenges, nothing major.
It's all solo games really.
Well, no, it's like for Scrabble, you're playing against the computer.
Oh, are you? Oh, he's scoring. Oh, is he or she?
Well, I don't know whether isn't it? I think the computer.
Good. Well, I think that will do. I did have something else to talk about, and I was going to talk about developing athletes or sports people through the age groups and what your views on that. But we might save that for another day because I think.
Let's say that's quite in depth.
We could ask for people's questions. I'm going to be chatting to 3 of the ladies from the club later for an interview about the difficulties they face through the ages, from being a youngster and transferring to seniors, which would be interesting. And if anyone else has got any points on sport and retention of young athletes in the sport, would be good.
I did ask you a good question this morning, which you just laughed at. I said, would you rather have married somebody who was much more into sport than me? Because I have not necessarily 100% sport orientated, but you are, aren't you? This is your life. This is what you like and you enjoy.
Well, I don't know. You show enough.
You're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't. Think very carefully with this answer.
I think, regardless, it's quite good that you are reasonably independent and you go off and do your bits and bobs as well.
You have no idea what my bits and bobs are, have you?
whether it's the officiating, the computer, or or whatever, it's that's quite good. You're not sitting here moaning at me to get back home or to focus on playing Sudoku or something with you.
No. I can do all of these things on my own. And the nice thing, but we do sit and sometimes have a little chat, don't we? Sometimes, not necessarily.
And on that note,
we're going to say goodbye.
Cheerio then. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.